Hi guys, welcome to my channel Confessions of a Gaming Mum. So today I want to do a little video, or try to do a little video. It might turn into like a really long rant, but I wanted to do a video on my love of the franchise Tomb Raider. It's been the longest running franchise of game that I absolutely been loyal to since the beginning. It has a lot of influence over my life. A lot of my friends I got through the Tomb Raider franchise. I met my husband because of the Tomb Raider franchise. So yeah, it really does mean a lot in my life. So basically I should probably start at the beginning. If you've watched my gaming story, then you probably know this already. So it was back in 1996 when I saw a friend's brother play it on PC, and I was really into dinosaurs at the time, and I did gymnastics and stuff like that. So seeing a brown-eyed brunette woman in a game backflipping and shooting dinosaurs and stuff, I was like, oh my god, this is the game for me. Originally I didn't think I'd be able to get it because my parents, because my dad was self-employed, my mum didn't work, and we didn't really have a lot of money. So because of a friend in the family who worked for Sony, he was able to get a PlayStation really cheap for us, which meant I was able to play Tomb Raider, and from then on it was like, can't even really look back, because it was just from then on I was just obsessed with Tomb Raider and Lara. And I loved ancient history anyway because I grew up watching the Indiana Jones films, and I think he was actually my first love as well. Indiana Jones, I absolutely adored him. So yeah, these games were just, as I saw it, like made for me. They were a bit scary though because I was quite young. I was only 11 years old when the first one came out. So yeah, because I didn't really play games at the time either. I was like quite new to gaming. Anything that made me panic, I just became really shit. So I'd like be panicking trying to shoot some like thug in Tomb Raider 2, and it would really scare me. But yeah, overall, because I love the games. I used to run around the manor. Even if I just wanted like sort of to jump in the game just to chill out for a bit, I'd just go into the manor and just run around in there and stuff. Or I'd skip a few levels and play a level that I knew like I really enjoyed and stuff like that. So yeah, up until Last Revelation I think was like just the peak for me, because at the time it was when I was obsessed with Egypt. I was like teaching myself ancient hieroglyphs, learning as much as I could about ancient Egypt, and I was just absolutely obsessed with it. And then Last Revelation came out, and again I was just like, oh my god, this game was just like made for me. I absolutely loved it. And then I think like my exams at school came about, so life kind of got in the way then of me playing Tomb Raider and gaming and stuff. So I picked up Chronicles, but it weren't really like my sort of, it was like, I still really enjoyed it, and I actually quite liked it because it was quite easy, but it didn't grab me like the previous games had grabbed me. So I was kind of like, meh, it's on par, but it's it's okay. It's not what I expect from a Tomb Raider though, to be honest. And with Angel of Darkness as well, because I didn't really have the internet at home, I kind of missed out on all the hype or the drama and everything that was going on. So I just remember seeing Angel of Darkness in the shops, and I think that was when I saw it and it was on PlayStation 2. I asked my parents if they could get me a PlayStation 2 for Christmas so I could play Angel of Darkness, and I actually really liked it. I thought it was a fantastic game, really enjoyed it, loved everything about it. But again, because I wasn't online, I didn't see all the stick that it was getting. I didn't see like all the where it was panned by the critics and things like that. I never saw any of that, so I never thought there was anything wrong with it. So yeah, so I kind of just, then obviously the film came out, absolutely obsessed with the film. I still absolutely loved the first one. I thought the first one was really well done. I hated what they did with Lara with her dad though. I was just like, there's no need for it. But other than that, I actually really enjoyed the first film. And then again, yeah, life kind of like took over, because obviously I went to, I did my GCSEs in school, then I went on to college, where I studied like classics and English literature. I really wanted to study archaeology, but they didn't actually do an archaeology course in my college. I'd have to wait until university to do that. So obviously I studied really hard at college and just about managed to get onto an archaeology course at University College London, where I studied for 3 years on archaeology. And yeah, and it was a fantastic time of my life. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, at this point, my whole idolising of Lara and everything, it was kind of like on the dip then, because obviously I was grown up, I was living my own life then. I had life going on. I mean, I still play games because a lot of my friends from uni played games as well, so I would play games with them, but it was like Project Zero or Fatal Frame, as Americans will know it, and like horror games and different things like that. So I actually got to see a wider range of games rather than just sticking to a specific franchise. And I think it was then when I left uni that Legend came out, And again, I had no idea what had happened with the franchise in terms of core design being fired and Crystal Dynamics taking over. I didn't know any of that because, again, I did go online when I was at uni, but it was only more for studying and things like that, or talking to friends on different forums, but nothing Tomb Raider related. And yeah, and I just remember seeing the trailer on TV once and thinking, oh wow, they've really updated Lara. She looks fantastic. And picking up the game. At this time I was able to buy it for myself because I had a part-time job and I had my student loan and stuff like that, so I bought a copy. I just remember sticking it in the PlayStation, being all excited, ready to play it, and then the title screen came up with like a Charlie's Angels-esque sort of introduction, and I was just like I was like, okay, what have they done to Lara? Why have they like Hollywoodized her? I really don't get it. And it was only then that I realised, when looking at the case, it was no longer core design, it was Crystal Dynamics. So I was kind of like, okay. I was like, well, I'll give it a chance. I'll see how I get on with it. Yeah, even though I enjoyed it, I completed it, it weren't Tomb Raider for me. And I was kind of like, yeah, you've really, like, even though obviously Lara was kind of cartoony in the previous games due to the technology and everything, but in this one it was like they'd purposefully made her cartoony, and they'd also made her like hyper British sort of thing. Being an American company, they don't actually know what a British person is like, therefore we'll just go with a very British actress to do the voice and just make her what we think British aristocracy would be like. And it's just like, no, really not. Really annoying. So yeah, I didn't get on well at all with Legend. When Anniversary came out, and by this time is when, I think it was around this time that I actually joined the Tomb Raider forums, because I was just so sort of outraged by what they'd done to Lara and Tomb Raider. I was just like, need to air my frustrations. Yeah, although I hadn't, because I met my husband on the Tomb Raider forums, but I hadn't actually spoken to him at this point. But I knew who he was because he was quite well known on the forums at the time because he worked for IDOS. And yeah, so then it was when I joined. Then I think there was all the hype and the drama about the fact that Core Design had made an anniversary edition of Tomb Raider, and Crystal had made an anniversary edition as well. So obviously there was a massive thing like split between the fans in terms of like, well, it belongs to Crystal now, therefore they have the rights to do it. But then you also have the classic fans that were like, and obviously this is when the first sort of split started to happen between the fans. And yeah, you had all the classic fans that were like, no, well, like Core created the game, they invented Tomb Raider, therefore they should have the chance to make an anniversary edition. But obviously, unfortunately, that never happened. So again, I think that really alienated a lot of people within the fandom. And yeah, it just weren't a good time. When Anniversary did come out, I mean, I'd seen a load of the promo leading up to it, and I was quite impressed with it. I thought it looked really, really beautiful. It was like a great way of reimagining the original. And yeah, I did enjoy it as a standalone game, but again, I just hate what they'd done to Lara in the game. She weren't the Lara that I grew up with and who I idolised, so I was kind of like, this is just insulting. So yeah, I don't think I actually even completed Anniversary. I got really annoyed with the wall run, like the grapple and the wall run. I was just like, I don't love this game enough to continue with it. So I think I got up to Atlantis, and then I just put it down and haven't picked it up since, to be honest. And then obviously a few years later, Underworld came out. And it was around the time, I think it was within a few weeks of the game coming out, is when I actually met my husband. And I was surprised we actually got together because I was so angry at the time, just what they'd done to Lara and Tomb Raider. And I was just like, it's all your fault. Why have you done this? You've killed Lara. You've destroyed her. Oh, I'm sorry. It was very funny. But yeah, and again, to me, Underworld was a good game. But to me, it didn't, I mean, some aspects felt like Tomb Raider, but again, I just think it was Lara. It just wasn't right. Something about Lara just wasn't right. And again, it was a game that I didn't finish because I just hated the story, and I was just getting really bored of it by the end. So again, it was one I got to a certain point and then I just put it down, gave up and never played it again. And yeah, I just hated the way they'd made the franchise just super cartoony. So then we go on to the reboot. Again, I think I had my hopes set quite high for this one, because obviously they were just starting afresh, wiping the slate clean, also they said, and everything, it just looked a lot more gritty, a lot more realistic, like how I think if Tomb Raider was made, like if the original Tomb Raider was made now, how it would feel. just like the grittiness, the dirt, the blood, the gore, just like the horror. It's how I think they would have liked it to have been if they'd had the technology back then. And that's all what all the promo was doing. And that's when I set up my fan site Survivor Reborn. And yeah, because I was getting a lot of freebies through my husband's work. Again, I was able to not sell them, I was able to give them away in competitions on Survivor Reborn. So that was another reason why I set up the website. So yeah, what I'll do, I'll leave a link in the description to my site so you can have a look at it and see if it's something that you'd actually like to follow, because we've got like Facebook, Twitter. We do actually have a website, which is undergoing a massive change at the moment. Not that I have anything to do with it, my team that are taking over that. So yeah, so be sure to check it out. But yeah, it's I do remember just getting swept up in this just massive amount of promo that they did for the reboot, and it was an exciting time because everyone was thinking, oh, we're finally going to get what we'd always wanted when Crystal took over. And then obviously the game came out, and I think a lot of people were very disappointed with what happened. And again, it split the fandom again. So now you had three sides of or I could say four sides. You had the classic fans, you had the Legend Anniversary Underworld fans, and then you also have the reboot fans. But then you also have the fans that like all three of those. I mean, good luck to them. I'm jealous that you're actually able to not judge any of the different parts of the franchise, but I just can't get on with them. The reboot is better for me than Legend Anniversary and Underworld, but it's still not Tomb Raider. It's basically Uncharted, but a little bit more gritty and with a woman in it, which is basically what they've made. The only reason to me that they've put Lara Croft and Tomb Raider on it is to make it sell. But to be honest, I don't even really think they need to do it because they're good games. I'm not taking that away from them. They are good games, but don't call them Tomb Raider and don't call her Lara Croft because she's not. Lara Croft did not get into archaeology because Daddy did it. She got into archaeology because she realised that she had a really this obsession with it, and she loved the adventure, she loved the adrenaline of it, so she did it for purely selfish reasons. And yeah, the people probably think that's not a really good role model to be looking up to, but it is. I mean, she was born in a time in the 90s when it was all about girl power. It was like feminism was really sort of out there and just really sort of kicking it out to sort of the patriarchy at the time. I mean, a lot of it was promoted by the patriarchy as like, look at these sexy feminists and like going out there and showing us who's boss and blah blah blah, and look at her in those hot pants saying we can look and not touch and shit like that. I mean, yeah, it had its faults. It's still better than what we were given 20 years later. It does feel like with the new Lara, the feminism has taken a step back because she can't be her own person because she's stuck looking up to her father. It would be just as bad if she was looking up to her mum, because again she's not an independent spirit, which is the whole reason that I loved Lara in the first place. But it's still that whole thing of, oh, she can't be her own person, she has to follow in Daddy's footsteps. Why? I really don't get that, and I've never understood that, and it's pissed me off since Crystal took over. Ever since I played Legend and they went on about she was like trying to prove her father right and find her mother, and I was just like, this isn't Lara. This isn't who I idolise. This isn't the woman I looked up to. And I'm not taking away, like, there will be fans out there that were just like, oh, but she is a great person to look up to. I mean, she probably is for modern girls, the new Lara, apart from, like I said, the fact that she has to follow in father's footsteps, which is just bullshit. But she probably is, because she is strong, she's very intelligent, she doesn't use her looks to get things at once. So she's not like a typical sort of sexy female that you get in a lot of video games. I mean, you don't get so many of them now. You actually get quite powerful characters now, like obviously Ellie in Last of Us and Chloe in Uncharted. I'm naming Naughty Dog games now, but yeah, it's like you have these characters, and obviously the new Lara is part of that. But it's still, and again, it's with Chloe in Uncharted. Why does it have to be the dad makes their daughter that motivates their daughters to do these things? Why can't it be that they just want to do it because they want to? Why can't they be like a creator of their own destiny, so to speak? Why does it have to be about what their dad did before? And that just, yeah, it just really annoys me. I also really didn't like it. I think what also turned me against Crystal is just the way that they slagged off the originals. So like calling Lara an Ice Queen, and that she had tank controls. That, yeah, it's just, you if you're going to take someone's franchise, you don't then sort of like spit in their face. If it weren't for core design, you wouldn't have this franchise. You were handed this franchise and you should be fucking sort of kissing their feet right now, to be fair. I have to say, and it's probably going to get a lot of people going like, but I just have zero respect for Crystal. Especially, like, I can tell you precisely when all my respect went out the window for Crystal, and that was when Rise came out, Rise of the Tomb Raider, because it became an Xbox exclusive. When they announced that, I was like, that's it, I'm done. Done with the franchise, I'm done with Crystal. Crystal can fuck off. I don't want nothing more to do with them. When they made the announcement, I think it was at Gamescom? Just as they were about to make the announcement, my husband went into a meeting with someone at Square, who I think was on brand at the time or something, and had bought him some donuts. And he was just like, oh, would you like a donut? And he was like, oh yeah, of course I'll have a donut. And then the guy was like, okay, yes, so can you what do you think Laurie's gonna say to this announcement? And obviously my husband didn't know at the time, and as he was told as the announcement was made at Gamescom, and he was just like, I'm supposed to be getting married. I don't think my fiance is going to want to marry me now after this. And they were like, oh shit. It was a struggle, it really was, but I knew it wasn't his fault because he doesn't work for Crystal, he works for Square. So, and I blame Crystal, I don't blame Square. And obviously a lot of it falls on Square, but the main people at fault are Crystal. People may think it's Square, but it's not, it's Crystal. They're just arseholes. And that's the thing, I know there's going to be loads of people that work at Crystal that will be sit there if they ever bother to watch this video and be like, hey, I like the Tomb Raiders, I like the classics. And I'm like, you guys are fine, I respect you. You work in the games industry and like you've got like a really good secure job for yourself and you're supporting your family or whatever, and like power to you. It's your management that are twats. They're the ones that make the big decisions, they make the stupid decisions, and they're the ones that have got Tomb Raider where it is right now. And I hate them. I told you this is going to turn into a long ass rant. So yeah, so I never actually played Rise. Never played Rise. The only bit I played was the manor. Was it Blood Ties? I played that because there was a really good friend of ours who actually worked on the manor. And she came over to the UK and we took her to Hampton Court Palace to look at what 15th and 16th century manor houses looked like, so she could get an idea when she was helping to make the manor up to be what it was. So obviously I knew how much hard work she put into it, hence why I was like, oh, I'll play it for her. I'll do her a favour. I'll acknowledge her effort. So so that's the only bit of Rise I actually did play. The rest of it I was just like, no, I've got no interest at all. I'm boycotting the series now because it's not Tomb Raider anymore. And then obviously all the rumours started about the whole thing with the next Tomb Raider that was coming out, and it weren't actually going to be under Crystal, it was going to be under Eidos Montreal. And so I was like, well, I'll uplift my boycott on Tomb Raider for now, considering it's not being done by Crystal Dynamics anymore, or for this one in particular. This is gonna be a completely different company, so they might actually treat Lara better. So yeah, so I was actually really, really excited for Shadow, and when they announced it, and I thought it looked fantastic. It still had the feel of the reboot, which for me was fine, because like I said, reboot it's always had that feel for me of what I think they would have liked to have achieved with the original Tomb Raider. To me, it looked fantastic, and yeah, and I was just hoping that they would be able to bring Lara back to, or like, because it was the end of the trilogy, I was really counting on them to be able to bring Lara to who she should be, like who she was in the originals, and that basically the reboot and Rise were just the lead up to that. To be honest, when Shadow came out, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic, but it got criticised so much, and I don't understand why. I mean, to be honest, I do have a feeling that like Eidos Montreal were very restricted in terms of what they could do because of Crystal. I just imagine Crystal like breathing down their necks like, you can't do this, you can't do this, why would you do that? They were given something like the end of a trilogy, they had to finish a trilogy. You're given something and people are like, yeah, just do what you like with it, but you can't do this, this or this or this. And what's the saying? It's like, you can't polish a turd. So they're given a story that they have to finish. They're given like a style, they've got like all these different things that they have to stick to, but they want to make it their own. So when people criticise it, it's not Eidos Montreal's fault as far as I'm concerned. Their hands were tied. There's only so much they could do. So yeah, I think it didn't deserve hardly any of like the criticism it got. And yeah, like I said, to me, Shadow is the best out of the reboot trilogy, and it just makes me really upset because obviously Shadow didn't do as well as Rise or the reboot, which means that to the big bosses who see that Rise and Reboot sold better than Shadow, that Rise and Reboot are better games, because obviously they look at the money, they don't look at anything else. So yeah, they'll say that's obviously Crystal will be like, see, we know how to make a Tomb Raider game, therefore they'll be given the franchise back, because there was a lot of us that were secretly hoping it was going to be given to Eidos Montreal. But unfortunately that won't be the case. I'm really not looking forward to the next Tomb Raider, because I just think it's going to be going back to the same old formula that Crystal have decided is what sells and what the fans want. Obviously they ignore the fans from like 20 years ago. They look at the fans that pick up Reboot in the same day that they pick up Call of Duty or something. They're not like there for the, I'm not going to say real fans, because that makes it sound really dickish, but the fans that actually love really love the franchise and have been there and loyal to the franchise. They're the people that they're selling this game to now are the people that, like I said, they'll be like, oh yeah, there's a game that's kind of like Uncharted and it's got a girl in it. Those sort of fans. Yeah, I picked it up because it looked really cool. That sort of thing. And that really pisses me off, and it really depresses me as well, because to be honest, I think that's just how the games industry is going in general, in terms of people just don't care about not what the fans want, because fans shouldn't have shouldn't hold like the games industry to, or game creators to ransom. I don't think that gaming companies should dictate what gamers like either, and that seems to be the way that things are going. So like you get insulted for being a classic fan, or like you'll get like the management of Crystal Dynamics like rolling their eyes as soon as someone says they're into the classics. It's not nice. These are people that are buying your games, and the reason that you have such a successful franchise to work on is because these people were buying the games from the very beginning, and then you shit on them like they don't matter. Yes, so I think like I said, I tried to make this just like a short video about my love of Tomb Raider and everything, but it just turned into a massive rant about how much I hate Crystal Dynamics. This is what happens. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day here. I'm going to apologise in advance because as you obviously know, I'm a gaming mum, which means I have a little baby that is constantly demanding my attention, especially at the moment because we're trying to wean him onto solid foods at the moment. So feeding him is a lot more complicated, a lot more complex, and a lot more time consuming than it was before. And he's also very loud and very vocal. The reason you can't hear him right now is because he's fast asleep. So, which is why I'm doing this video very quickly as well. So unfortunately it looks like I'll only be doing one vlog a week, and I was hoping to try and alternate between a gaming vlog and a mum vlog, but again it's when I can come up with the material, so there might be a lot of mum vlogs in one go, and then there might be a load of gaming vlogs in another, so I'll try and keep it even, but I can't make any promises. Like I said, and I'll try and keep it to once a week, but I can't make any promises because that's the life of a gaming mum, unfortunately. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Whether you're a Classics fan, a Legend and Anniversary and Underworld fan, or a Reboot fan, please leave a comment below on your first Tomb Raider experience. I'd love to hear from you and try and get some discussion going. A nice discussion, because normally when you get the three factors of the fandom together, people start arguing and calling each other petty names. So it'd be nice for everyone to just be nice to each other. I know I just said really horrible things about Crystal, but that's me personally. Don't take it to heart. I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking the company. But yeah, so yeah, start a discussion below and we can have like a little chat about Tomb Raider and how much it means to everyone, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Tomb Raider fans that will be watching these videos. Well, I hope so anyway. But yeah, and I'll leave links in the description to Survive Reborn, my Tomb Raider fan site. I'll also leave links to my Lorien Gaming site, which is the one I'm trying to set up as a business so I can work from home and also provide for my son. So any help you can give would be great. But yeah, also what I'll do is if you subscribe to Lorien Gaming's YouTube, I've actually got Tomb Raider 1, 2 Reboot Rise and Shadow gameplays on this. You can actually watch those. I didn't play Rise, it was my husband that played Rise, so I didn't have to play it. But yeah, I'll leave a link to Lorien Gaming's YouTube channel as well, so you can subscribe to that and watch my playthroughs on there if you so wish. But I think I'll leave it there just before my son wakes up and starts crying. So have a good one, guys, and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye!